Welcome back. What is up? Welcome back to Cozy Talks. A little bit of a
Yeah,
week break. A little bit of a week break we had. No UFC, no more football. A little bit of a boring weekend, but we're back. And this week we have Sean Strickland versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, and it's going down in Texas. I'm pretty excited for this card. How are you feeling about it, Joe?
I'm excited. It's another 2 p.m. Eastern time, or yeah, 5 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. Pacific time for us West Coasters. Speaking of the Super Bowl, shout out to Seahawks, our home team
Yep.
won. So
Sam Darnold did it.
yeah,
He did it.
big news,
He did it.
big news. Happy about that. Other than that, yeah, it's been kind of a lame week. No sports. I mean, not that anyone cares about basketball, but they had the All-Star break. But we're here for UFC, and that's all we care about. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun week. We've already seen some fights get remade. Luckily, no pullouts as far as like fights getting just totally written off. So that's good news so far. Hopefully, we break that streak because we are three cards into the year, and 3 cards have had fights totally just canceled. So hopefully, we get a card where we just get a full card. Yeah, before we get into it, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, turn your notifications on so you guys stay up to date whenever we post. It's always same times, Tuesdays, Fridays, 6 p.m. Pacific time, so don't miss out on that. With that being said, let's get into our breakdown. Yeah. So we'll go, Carly Judice, Yadir Delval versus Jordan Levitt. I'm going to go Yadir Delval. And we'll get into that a little bit more. I mean, you can see that these guys aren't even in the same weight class. So there's like a big reason for why I'm on the side of Yadir, just because of that too.
Yeah, I gotta go with Yadir.
And the next fight is John Paul Levosoniai.
I got John
Oh,
Paul.
shit. I don't know how you say it. Filero. Yeah, I'm going to go Gene Paul. Ramiz Brahimai versus Punahele. I'm on Ramiz Brahimai.
I got Brahimai.
Next fight, Nora Cornell versus Jocelyn Edwards. This is their second time fighting, by the way. Nora Cornell won the first one by decision. I'm on Jocelyn Edwards to get her get back.
I got Jocelyn Edwards winning that one.
Next fight on the prelims, I got Alden Correa, the guy out of Joshua Van's camp, and then Luis Garul. I got Alden Correa.
I'm gonna just do this real quick. I am not gonna say anything until I disagree with you, Joe. So just keep rolling with it.
Okay. Odie Osborne, Olivia Idris. My brain wants to say Ode, so I'm just gonna say Ode and just trust it. No disagreement? Okay, good. Next one, Chidi Njokuani versus Carlos Leal. See, this is where I think a lot of people are going to split, because we just saw Carlos Leal get shinned bad in his last fight. But the last time we saw Chidi, he just got choked out by Jake Matthews. 2 very different finishes. I'm kind of worried if Leal's shin's now compromised, because he got knocked out pretty bad. But I like Leal as a fighter, so I think I'm going to stay on the Leal side here. That one got a little long. So Carlos Leal is my pick. I'll cut that one down, don't worry. Next one, Zach Reese versus Michelle Pereira to kick off the main card. Got Michelle Pereira. That might be a crazy take. I think this feels like sort of a layup. Like, I don't think the skill set of Zach Reese is very impressive. I think if Michelle Pereira like is any sort of sign of his old self, I think his striking should be enough. But we'll see.
Yeah, I got Zach Reese.
Okay, all right. Jacoby Smith versus a short notice undefeated Josiah Harrell. That's weird. ESPN had him at 7-0, I think is what I saw. But they got him at 11-0 on Topology. So, that kind of changes my thought a little bit. But I think I'm still on the side of Jacoby Smith. Yeah, I mean, we'll look into it a little more later. Sergey Spivak versus Ante Delija. Ante Delija is my pick. I think he'll win out here, and I think he'll get the finish. Next one, Dan Ige versus Mukwaziel Costa. I got Mukwaziel Costa. Next one, Jeff Neal, Eurosmedic. You gotta be Jeff Neal, right? And then next one, Sean Strickland, Anthony Hernandez. Boy, I don't even know if I want to give a pick, bro. I don't really know what to say. Because I'm super split on this because I like both guys.
You like Strickland?
I think he's okay. I'm just worried about the ring. I'm just worried about the ring rust because he's been out for over a year. I mean, and Fluffy looked good in his last couple fights.
I'm gonna say my pick, and my pick is gonna be Fluffy, and we'll get into the reasoning later on.
Yeah, maybe I'll give you guys a pick by the end of this because right now I'm pretty stuck on it. So let's get back to where we were. Carly Giudice and Juliana Miller kicking it off with a pretty heavy favorite. Carly Giudice against Juliana Miller. My pick in this one's Carly Giudice.
Yeah, 100%. I'm right there with you. I got Carly Giudice. I was a little hesitant on it. I mean, I was on Juliana Miller when I had first seen this fight, but looking into it, no, I got Carly Giudice.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the right side to be on. Is the Carly Giudice side. There's a video of Juliana Miller, I guess, like reacting to her getting the news that she's such a heavy underdog, and she was just like so surprised that not a lot of people believed in her. I'm like, well, Carly Giudice is just a savage. You know, her two losses are because she saw the scorecards and just didn't do enough. Her 5 wins are by finish. So, you know, you got one of these young MMA women prospects who is a flyweight and gets finishes. It's definitely something interesting to see here. You know, your Juliana Miller is almost even on her record, and I think after this one she will be 4-4. And it's kind of a lame prospect in my opinion as far as like the record goes. I mean, both these girls are super young in their careers. One's 26, about to be 27, and the other's 29, about to be 30. I don't know. I mean, women's MMA is just very shallow as a roster. So it's like, what do you really do if you have a girl that's 4-4 on your roster? Like she's still young enough in her record to like, I guess like, yeah, she can develop, but it's just a weird spot to be in. Anyway, back to the picks. So next on the card, Yadir Delval versus Jordan Levitt.
You didn't want to go over the Giudice and Miller fight?
I'll edit it.
I mean,
well, I guess we can look into it a little more. Don't worry, I'll edit this.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Carly Giudice, Juliana Miller. Yeah, don't worry. I'll edit this out. We'll just go into the Yadir fight. Okay. Yeah, I'll bounce it back and forth. Yadir Delval versus Jordan Levitt. Yeah. So what I was saying in the quick picks about Jordan Levitt being a lightweight, he's 12-3, and I think his whole career has been a lightweight. Now he's going down to featherweight versus a guy who is already a big featherweight, a guy that is like really one of the bigger featherweights. Yeah, and he's got really good wrestling, and that's kind of like where I see the problem here. Like Jordan Levitt is known for like having solid submission game. I think that's how he won his last fight, right? He choked out Kurt Hollabaugh. Yadir, last time we saw him, for those of you who don't know, that was during the betting scandal with Isaac Bulgarian. That's the last time we saw Yadir. But I think we still got to give him credit. I mean, he took down Isaac Bulgarian. I mean, it's just whether, you know, how much effort was really there, you know, whether Isaac really just like let him take him down, because Isaac is like a credentialed wrestler himself. But Yadir, I think he presents a lot of problems with his wrestling. Like I said, he's a bigger guy. His striking is gonna you know, carry more impact. I mean, yeah, he's just solid. He's definitely one of the more interesting prospects for the featherweight division. One of the guys that's still undefeated out of Cuba. And I guess now that I see it, he is fighting out of Houston, Texas. So this is sort of like a hometown fight, I guess. This is at least where his camp is. What do you think, Z?
I don't know, guys. I don't know, Joe. I don't know. Looking at it now, I'm kind of leaning. I'm kind of leaning towards Jordan Leavitt, and the only reason why is because I completely forgot that submission win that he got off of Kurt Hollabaugh was off a 2-year layoff from his last fight when he got submitted by Chase Hooper, and then he came back and submitted Kurt Hollabaugh.
But like, how good do you think Hollabaugh is? Like, do you think Hollabaugh is like a good win?
I don't think he's that. I don't think it's that good of a win. But the fact that he was coming off of a 2-year layoff and finished his opponent, you know what I mean?
Right.
I do like that, and I am gonna be a little bit of an asshole here. The Yadir and Isaac Dalgarian fight was shit.
It probably shouldn't count. It probably should be wiped from Topology and everything, because it's obviously a fixed fight.
I'm gonna be completely honest. It was shit.
Right.
I honestly thought that Yadir was gonna lose that fight, and then all of a sudden Isaac Dalgarian just forgot how to fucking fight. I rewatched the clip when Yadir took his back and locked up that submission.
Bro helped him out with locking it up.
Exactly. Isaac gave that shit the fuck up, and he completely forgot how to fight. Completely forgot how to yeah. So I might take a shot on the dog here. I might take a little shot in the dog here.
Okay.
But overall, guys, this dude was a part of a fucking FBI scandal for betting, and he's a minus 400. I'm not touching this fight at all unless I'm taking the underdog. So that's what I got on this fight.
All right. Next one up the card, we get another short notice fight. It was supposed to be originally Austin Vanderford, but now it's Phil Rowe versus Jean Paul. I can't even say his name. I'm just gonna call him Jean Paul, bro. I don't know how you say it.
Just call him JP.
Yeah, call him I'll call him JP. Yep. My pick is I already said my pick is JP.
Or JPL. That's literally his nickname. Is JPL.
It's his initials. What?
What?
But JPL is my pick. I mean, we watched him on Contender Series back in, when was it? Against Jack Congdon, September 2nd, and he looked good, bro. He got the early round one finish, and Congdon was the bigger fighter, so him getting the kick up there and getting that win was pretty impressive because Congdon looked like a pretty lengthy dude when I was watching that. And I was surprised seeing, I don't know, just seeing the size difference. I was kind of surprised to see JPL was the favorite in that fight. I'm pretty sure he was the favorite if I remember right. But I mean, I think his story is he like has like MMA blood. Like he has like fighters. I don't know if it's in his family or if it's like from his like coaching tree. Something like that. There's some sort of like significance to JPL. Remember they talked about it on the Contender Series. But Phil Rowe. I mean, if it was Phil Rowe before the Anschlusa fight, or where is it at? I don't remember where it was. Oh, he won that fight. I mean, one was prime Phil Rowe. There was Phil Rowe when Phil Rowe was good. I don't even really know when it was. Was it COVID? Well, this was all pre-UFC. That's all grappling. I don't really care. Nico Price, did he miss weight? He missed weight in that fight.
He lost to Gabe Green.
Why did I ever think Phil Rowe was good? Did he beat Buckley or who did he beat? He didn't beat anyone impressive. I don't know why I thought he was good for some reason.
Because he okay, I'm not gonna lie. Fight against Angelusa, he was losing that fucking fight. He was getting his ass.
Yeah, I remember that.
Until he pulled it out of the fucking bag and really dug deep and kept striking.
That was a third round finish, right?
That was a third round finish.
Yeah.
In this fight, you get JPL. You get a young fucking prospect who's coming into the UFC and fucking bitched his opponent on Contender Series, bro. That was such a clean fucking setup and fucking that was a clean knockout from JPL. Yeah. I think JPL is gonna go in there and hit Phil Rowe, because that's another thing as well. Like Phil Rowe gets hit and he gets wobbled. And like he's kind of like he becomes like a fucking zombie, you know. He gets hit hella hard, but he's still on his feet.
Yeah,
I think JPL's gonna fucking sit him down.
Yeah,
I think JPL's gonna hit him with some real fucking raw power.
Yeah,
he's gonna sit down Phil Rowe. I mean, you got JPL's only 27, bro. He's 27, and
young buck.
Like you were saying, he looked great in his Contender Series, and he has submission wins under his belt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's an all-around good fighter.
He has more submission wins than he does knockouts, and he performed like that on the Contender Series.
Yeah,
this guy's a problem, 100%. And I think he's gonna go in there and absolutely bitch Phil Rowe, and I think it'll be early too. I see JPL getting it done in the first round. I see JPL sitting down Phil Rowe scrambling back up to the feet, and JPL just locking up the neck.
I like the take. I agree with it.
I like that. That's my mystic play for this card. JPL by submission here.
Yep. This fight feels kind of like a gift as far as the betting line goes because it's split. So
that's crazy. That's kind of split.
Yeah. So we got Ramin Brahimaj versus Punahele Soriano. My pick was Brahimaj, and I'm tired of picking against him, bro. I think I picked against him in like 3 on his whole. I did pick Mickey Gall. I don't even know if I touched this fight, but I know I think I took Brahimaj here, but I took Vanderford here, and Vanderford looked like fucking shit in that fight.
I remember this. I took Brahimaj in that fight.
Yeah, and it's because I just didn't respect Brahimaj. I didn't know he was like that. But now that I see what he's capable of, I'm just like, I'm totally on this Brahimaj train. I definitely enjoy him as a fighter. I like his mic drops. You know, he's got that thick New York accent. Yeah, and I just like him here. Both these guys are on 3-fight win streaks, but Brahimaj is just, to me, is just a little bit better because it's a 3-fight win streak where everything's a finish versus Punahele, where he's off of a decision against Miguel Baeza, who I don't even know who that is. I don't know if he's in the UFC. Uros Medic, who we've seen him get clipped really quick. He gets like flash knockouts in the first round. We've seen it a few times where he's gotten dropped and then gets back up, or he's just totally out. And then he goes to a decision with Nikolay Veretennikov, where it was like a shit fight. That fight stunk. Both those guys were super gassed.
I mean,
Punahele put the wrestling on him.
Yeah, Soriano did give belt to ass in that fight. You know, he most definitely dominated that entire fight. But I agree with you. That was a boring fight. I expected to finish.
Yeah.
But my pick here in this fight, I got Brahimaj, bro. I agree with you. I think the respect has most definitely been earned on the side of Brahimaj. Punahele, I mean, he had a few really solid knockouts. You know, the one against fucking Uros Medic, and then he had knocked out this other dude. Oh, I saw him when he knocked out Dusko. Todorovic.
Todorovic, yep.
Yeah, Todorovic. Yeah, I saw him knock him out. Yeah, I mean, I think
this
kind of
either going to be
because I feel like you have one dude who is really pushing for that shot at the rankings, and then you have the other guy who's kind of cruising by. I mean, I don't really want to say that, but that's just kind of what came to mind looking at this.
Yeah.
I'm leaning more towards the side of Ramiz Brahimaj. A finish in this fight, I'm kind of like 30-70 on it.
You think it's decision? Gritty decision?
70% this fight goes to decision, and slight chance this doesn't, just because of the chance that Soriano kind of shuts down Brahimaj, you know, the way he did to Veretennikov in their fight.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of sat on top of him and didn't really allow Veretennikov to put anything out or to get up on the feet. But to be fair, too, Brahimaj is really good on the ground.
One thing I'll note. Sorry. One thing I'll note. In all 13 of Brahimaj's wins, never seen the scorecards. So that is something to know.
See, another thing as well.
But when you start catching those trends is when that shit goes the distance.
Yeah, 100%. One thing I will say is Soriano's gas tank was a little compromised in his last fight against Veretennikov.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man, I most definitely see Brahimaj overcoming Soriano in the third round if Soriano is just gassed out and he's just looking for control time.
Yeah.
But my pick there is going to be Brahimaj.
Yep.
By decision.
Okay. Next fight, Nora Cornell versus Jocelyn Edwards. These girls fought over a year ago. It's actually over 2 years ago. And Nora Cornell won that one. And I want to say that fight took place. I want to say that fight took place in Paris. And to be honest with you, I really don't remember the first fight. But we've seen Jocelyn Edwards' trajectory from that fight to now, and we've seen where Nora Cornell has gone from then to now. We can see it, you know, lost Eileen Perez, who is top 15, I think, and then she goes on. Well, I only she was top 15 at the time. I think this was kind of where she took off into the top 15, and then she beats Tamiris Vidal, who I don't know who that is, to be honest with you. Beats Chelsea Chandler. which was kind of an impressive win at the time because Chelsea Chandler was like kind of like that gritty fighter. It was kind of hard to put away. And then she knocked out Zombie Girl, who, if you guys watched the last card, was like, I mean, she was at the punching bag. She's just one of those girls who, like, yeah, her striking defense isn't very good. You think she's going to get knocked out a lot. Doesn't really happen too often. She's kind of more just a punching bag. But Jocelyn Edwards was able to get her out of there, kind of just flatlined her. So it was an impressive win for Jocelyn Edwards. Nora Cornell, yeah, she got the win over Jocelyn Edwards. Beat Melissa Mullins, which was a pretty decent win. Melissa Mullins is fighting. Does she already fight, or I think she's fighting here soon on one of these upcoming cards. Yeah, and then lost to Cavalcanti, which is a pretty okay loss. I mean, Cavalcanti's a solid girl in this division. Beat Haley Cohen, don't know who it is, and then lost to Carol Rosa, which is kind of a bad loss in my opinion. I feel like this should have been a win for Nora Cornell, but Nora Cornell is like she's a kickboxer. I think that's her style if I remember right. But Jocelyn Edwards, she should be able to hone into her craft now that she's grown a little bit more. And her, like I said, her trajectory is a little bit different than Cornell's as of right now. I think she's gonna be able to figure out Cornell and keep the range. And if it does end up along the cage, I think Cornell can do it, or Edwards can do enough to keep it standing. If not, maybe get a takedown or two of her own. So yeah, I think Edwards is the pick here. I think this is gonna be another decision fight between the two. I would see Edwards on the scorecards, probably unanimous, 29-28.
Yeah, 100%. I'm on the same side of Jocelyn Edwards here. I do think she might get it done inside the distance, though. I see Jocelyn Edwards.
Do you think it'd be a knockout, or what do you think? I don't know how I feel about the submission. I mean, what's Cornell? I think she's like a kickboxer, a Muay Thai. She does have submissions under her belt, but she has a lot of knockouts. Edwards, I don't know if I've ever seen her. She does have 4 submission wins. Okay, I think I've always just seen her as a striker. So I guess that's kind of an underrated. Damn, your screen was bright. That is.
Yeah, I got a notification that blew up my entire screen.
Yeah. So yeah, this is an interesting one. I feel like their styles do clash very well, and I think that's why Cornell got the better of her in the first fight. So I think it's just a matter of how much growth came out of Edwards in that, and it comes from that into this second fight.
Yeah. I think Edwards gets it done inside the distance, so
Okay.
I really do see it. I mean, I feel like Edwards coming in here obviously with the chip on her shoulder. She lost in Nora Cornell by decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Either way, my pick is Jocelyn Edwards.
All right. Moving up to the prelim, we get the hometown kid Alden Correa versus Luis Garul. This feels like, I feel like Luis Garul has kind of been getting like a shit end of the stick since his debut. I think he's kind of turned into a bit of a disappointment for what the UFC kind of projected him to be. Alden Correa, he was lights out in his debut when he beat Costa, dude. That was such a great fight. That wasn't that short notice, or am I tripping?
I think that was short notice because he fought on Fury
like a couple days before, right?
Yeah, it was like 3 months before he fought.
Okay.
In the UFC.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so he's also from 4 Ounce Fight Club, and those who don't know, that's the gym that Joshua Van is a part of, and I think he still is a part of 4 Ounce Club because it's out of Houston. And Luis Garul, he's known for his he's got good Muay Thai, fights out of Factory X. But like I said, since he came up from Contender Series, he's kind of been disappointing. I mean, losing to Ode Osborne, Ode Osborne's good, but like, he's one of those guys that if you're skilled enough and your wrestling's good enough, you should have the advantage. And I thought Garul was going to have the advantage in the grappling because he was also kind of a credentialed grappler. But he just got fucking starched, dude. I think was that a first or second round finish? I honestly don't remember. It was pretty quick. Yeah, it was second round.
But before that, in the first round, Garul was getting pieced.
Yeah.
Ode was fucking dancing around him. Yeah. And one thing I will note is, Garul won by decision, on his Contender Series, but then his only 2 losses in his career have been his UFC fights,
Yeah,
his debut, and then the one after that against Jesus Aguilar.
yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm saying it's been kind of disappointing to see him come up, because he was, he was undefeated coming in, and we were like, oh, undefeated guy versus Odie Osborne. Okay, this feels like a layup. And then Odie was like, nah, not having it. And then the next fight loses to Jesus Aguilar. I think that was in the Apex too. And Jesus Aguilar is like one of the he's the guy who has like a 66-inch reach. And he's just one of the smaller guys for the flyweight, but he's also one of those guys that packs a fucking mean punch. He's one of the more compact guys in the division. Coria,
Real scrappy.
yeah. Corey, on the other hand, his boxing is so clean. He's definitely very technical. You can see a lot of the Joshua Van skill set in Coria. And he's gonna be a problem. I think that this guy could easily be top 15. After this fight, I think he could get the finish in this one. I'm not going to lie to you. I think if he keeps the volume and he keeps the pressure on Gurul and dictates the pace, I think he can definitely coast to either unanimous or definitely get the KO. I think Gurul's going to have to definitely try and get some takedowns and stop Coria. Maybe establish some leg kicks, use his Muay Thai. But I think Coria can do enough here. So yeah, I think Coria gets this one done for sure. Next one, Odie Osborne, speak of the devil, versus Libby Idris. And you guys read the records, and you guys saw our quick pick. We say Odie Osborne. It might sound crazy just because you're seeing that. He's like, this dude's he's 1-4 in his last 5. But he's fighting in Libby Idris. And last time we saw Libby Idris was when he fought Joseph Morales, and it was their Ultimate Fighter flyweight finale. And Buddy got fucking put out in the first round by a guy who had UFC experience. Joseph Morales, that was his second stint into the UFC.
It was second round.
It was a second round, yeah. But his first round he was getting out wrestled. No, he was dominated from bell to bell.
He was, and like going into this fight as well, like we saw Idris, and we were like, oh, he's from Kazakhstan, he's undefeated, like.
Yeah,
this guy's probably a fucking monster. He's probably like fucking Shavkat. Nope, he gets bitched by Joseph Morales.
Yeah, and he was one of the guys I think we noted at the time that his record. If you read his record, it was kind of like a can crusher record. And that's kind of a thing that's pretty common from the guys that are from like the Caucasus region, that they kind of get a lot of padded fights where it's not really like not necessarily legitimate, but they're not necessarily like skilled fights. And I kind of feel like that's what we got out of Olivi. Like obviously he did his thing on Contender, or on the they don't even have it on here. But he did his thing on Ultimate Fighter to get to the finale. But yeah, Joseph Morales was just levels better. Odie Osborne, the dude's got loads of UFC experience. His last fight with Steve Erceg, where he almost fucking won. That would have been insane if he beat Steve Erceg, because Steve Erceg was a huge favorite in that one. Steve Erceg, who just almost beat Pantoja, who went the distance with Brandon Moreno, who got flash knocked out by Kai Kara. I mean, that happens. We were fighting top 5 guys, and he's one of the guys who carries, the striking power. Ode's in a lot of these fights that he's losing. Asu, yeah. If there's one way to beat Ode, I just talked about it in the last breakdown, in the last fight. It's the wrestling, and that's kind of where Ode gets compromised, is when you get him down, because he's been notoriously like submitted. That's kind of been the recipe. Ronald Rodriguez is one of the guys who's like, he's got flashy spinning kicks. He's one of the guys who's going to kickbox and stay striking. Got the knockout over Gurul. We just talked about that, and then he went the distance with Erceg. Erceg kind of got on the horse and wrestled a bit to kind of coast out of that with the unanimous decision. I think the only way Ode loses this is if Alibi can get the takedowns. But if Ode can keep range and fucking pick apart Alibi, I think this one could be over Ode knockout. And that's kind of what I'm banking on. I think the longer this fight goes on, the more it favors Alibi. So I'm kind of banking on Ode knockout here.
Yeah, 100%. I think Ode is going to be too fast for Idris. Honestly, I think he's going to be too fast for him. And I think Ode will have what it takes. I think he has what it takes to get out of those grappling situations. Honestly, the only way I see Idris catching Ode is if Ode gets caught up against the cage.
Yeah.
Gets caught up against the cage and Idris holds him there and finds that takedown. But I'm gonna go with the underdog in this fight, and I got Ode, who was 1-4 in his last 5.
Yeah, and honestly, if he loses, I think you're probably gonna say if he loses, he's probably cut.
Yeah, yeah,
Back against the
probably.
wall.
Let's get
So
into the next one, Joe.
yeah, next one we got Chitty Bang Bang versus Carlos Leal. This is the one that I felt really split on. I mean, how do you feel about it, Z?
I am not split on it.
No, okay.
I got Carlos Leal, and the reason why because I was watching AJ's MMA expert. I was watching his video, and what he talked about in this one was he feels like Muslim Salikov might have been on PEDs
Might have been
fighting over
juicing.
there. Yeah, he might have been juiced fighting over there in his hometown because Salikov's a fucking killer when he's fighting at home. He is destroying dudes. But then he comes over here and who did he fight? He fought Danny Brown, I think it was. And he gets bitched. He gets bitched by Danny Brown. So
Danny Brown.
anyways, I think that's his name, right? Danny Brown.
I think so. I think I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Randy Brown.
Randy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Randy Brown. And yeah, the Kenon Song fight, where was that at? That was in fucking where's that at? That's in fucking somewhere in China. Yeah, Macau. That was in Macau.
That was the Macau card. Okay.
That was Macau card. There you go. There's one right there. Every time he's been getting these knockouts. And then here's another one against Andre Fiallo. I just want to look at this real quick.
Here's a deep dive into where he's fighting.
I was in Las Vegas. But yeah, he gets the Kenan Song in Macau, and then he fucking gets the Carlos Leal knockout and fucking Abu Dhabi, I'm pretty sure it was. And to be fair, Carlos Leal, he walked into that fight with his fucking head held high and a little bit of an aura boost going into that fight, but he got fucking humbled bad.
Yeah.
Walked into Muslim Salikov with no fucking respect and backed Salikov all the way up to the cage and tried to go in for a mean fucking left overhand, and Salikov just fucking lands one straight on the button. And no questions, no argument. Carlos Leal just dropped straight to his knees. Both these fighters though are great strikers. I mean, we've seen Carlos Leal knock dudes out like nothing. Chitty Bang Bang, he is he's a pretty solid fucking kickboxer. You know, in his last fight though, he gets bitched by Jake Matthews, and he kind of made that funny face when he's like on the ground. He's like, he's getting choked out. Oh, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And the camera just zooms in on his face. I think it'll be the same exact thing, but Carlos Leal fucking standing over him and Chitty Bang Bang just knocked out.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think Carlos Leal packs a real solid fucking punch.
He's dense, dude.
100%. And I feel like after that fucking nasty knockout loss to Muslim Salikov, I would hope that he had learned.
Yeah.
You know, not to just walk in there with your fucking chin held high. So my pick is going to be Carlos Leal.
Yep. Yeah, and Carlos Leal, he's not very like technical. He's one of those. He's definitely more of the brawler style, where he's pretty reckless, but he throws with intent to hurt. And we saw him knock out Alex Morono, which you see Alex Morono got knocked out after what we just saw Don Chico did to him. That guy knows how to go to sleep. Pretty crazy. I mean, it tells you a lot about Leal. Leal just has some of those heavier hands. There's the meme we have about Renat Fakhreddinov versus Carlos Leal, because Carlos Leal won that fight, but they were over in Saudi Arabia and they gave Buddy the 30-27, and that's why we always make that joke about 30-27s for these guys that are not in the fights whatsoever. Because, I mean, that Carlos Leal's who it happened to. But Chitty Bang Bang, yeah, he's got good Muay Thai. He's got decent kickboxing. Not really repeating anything that Z said. I think Carlos Leal, yeah, I think he finds a finish here. Either first round, second round. I think we see it happen. And we see him kind of make pace for the top 15. Moving up into the main card, We got Zach Reese versus Michel Pereira. So we were split on this one. So you had Zach Reese, I had Michel Pereira, and I feel like if any of you guys want to have a safe side, it's probably Z's side. I feel like I'm definitely on the dog side, which it's crazy that he's not even the dog here. I feel like honestly, just where they're at in their careers, three losses in a row versus a guy who has two in a row. I mean, it feels like these odds should be flipped. I feel like he should be the favorite and he should be the underdog, but that's not what we're seeing here. And that's kind of what has me worried. It kind of feels like a trap line. But like I said, Michel Pereira, we've seen what he's capable of when he's at his best. But 3 fights in a row, we have not seen him at his best. I don't know if he's on the downtrend of his career, which would be a very early downtrend because he's only 32. I mean, these guys don't. You're talking about the AJ thing too. He's the fake 32. He ain't 32. He's like 40.
I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it, Joe. I'm gonna save it. Go ahead.
Yeah. But Michel Pereira, I mean, him being on this downtrend. I mean, I don't know if it's a camp thing or what. Maybe it's the weight cut because he is pretty built. But we've seen what he's capable of. We know that he's a very flashy striker. But the longer fights go on is where we see him start to fade. He's kind of a first round and like early second round, and if it's later than that, it's just a bust. He's usually getting outworked. We saw it in the U-ZAH-BUS fight. We saw it in the Fluffy fight. Fluffy KO'd him and ragdolled him for fucking 4 rounds. It was pretty brutal. It was like, bro, Fluffy could have finished him back in the fucking second, but he's just like just bitching him. And then the U-ZAH-BUS fight. And really, I think his confidence was just gone after the Fluffy fight because the U-ZAH-BUS fight, he fought really like. He fought very like low volume, and I was like, where's the Michel Pereira that we saw before the Fluffy fight? And then he gets fucking chinned bad by Kalidakis in Macau, and so now there's just a lot of question marks on like where he's really at in his career. If it's something with his out of camp going on, I don't know. I'm kind of just banking on a bounce back, and I think if he loses this one, then I just totally give up on the bounce back thought because I took Kalidakis because. I don't know. My take on Michel Pereira, I'm very weird about it because I took Galzakis against Michel Pereira. That was our dog shot on that card. I remember we talked about it on the show. But I just don't like Zach Reese. I don't think Zach Reese is skilled enough to be in there with Michel Pereira. But you go ahead, Z. Maybe I'm wrong.
I just think Zach Reese is the more well-rounded, better fighter right now in this matchup.
I think his grappling is the thing.
100%. And what we were just talking about a little bit ago, I do not think Michel Pereira is 32. I do not think he's 32, bro. I was actually deep diving into some of that shit. And yeah, a lot of these Brazilian athletes fake their birth certificate. They don't fake birth certificates, but they fake their birth dates, and even Jose Aldo, in reality, nobody Jose Aldo is, and Michel Pereira, he's a Brazilian. This motherfucker, you can't look at that face, bro, Michel Pereira, and be like, yeah, he's 32. The motherfucker looks like he's pushing 48. he looks, nah, bro. Anyways, I got Zach Reese. I think Zach Reese, like I said, he is the better fighter right now. I think he had a little bit of hiccup, against Cody Brundage, kind of got back on track after that, and then got stumped again against Hazmat Bikoyev. But I mean, Cody Brundage, at the time, you could argue that Cody Brundage was,
that was a Cody Brundage who fought Bo Nickel.
Yeah, in 2023. Yeah, I mean, I got Zach Reese. I think Zach Reese can get it done. The thing is, though, is that if Michel Pereira does come back with a little bit of oomph in this fight,
it'll be over quick.
I see Zach Reese. No, shut up. I see Zach Reese winning. I see Zach Reese winning by decision.
What?
I think Zach Reese can get it inside the distance.
By sub? What do you think?
By sub. Or maybe by knockout. Maybe Zach Reese is starting to edge out more of his, all-round skills.
Okay.
I mean, we saw him go out there and submit Jackson McVeigh when Jackson McVeigh was coming in with a full camp.
Yeah.
You know, me personally, I was kind of excited for Jackson McVay. I like the dude, and excited to see him coming into a fight with a full camp. He gets bitched by Zach Reese in the first round.
Yeah.
I think Zach Reese is here, and I think he is here to make a statement. And I mean, if he were to lose against a 3-2 or a 2-3 Michelle Pereira, I think that really does a lot of damage to Zach Reese and what he plans for the future.
Yeah. That's definitely a big
But
step back for sure.
100%. But other than that, let's get into the next one, Joe.
Yep. Let's roll on over
Where
into it.
we have two undefeated guys, one of them making his UFC debut, and one of them who's been making a name for himself in the UFC.
Yeah.
My pick here is Jacoby Smith.
Yeah. I got Jacoby Smith too. Jacoby Smith apparently left his fight camp, but he's been training with DC in Vegas.
Oh wow!
So I mean, he is a very very credentialed fighter. He's definitely one of the bigger name prospects in the prospect pool. Josiah Harrell, 11-0. Don't know much about him. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know what promotion did he even fight for. He was part of LFA. Okay. Well, he was actually he was across different promotions. I mean,
he had a couple fights in LFA. I will say this real quick. Back in 2023, he was supposed to make a UFC debut against JDM.
Oh.
And then that got canceled.
Okay. Yeah, one of the things I just looked at for Josiah Harrell, I kind of just wanted to look into his finishes. He's definitely very well rounded. He's four knockouts, 6 submissions. I mean, Muscle Hamster kind of definitely speaks to the nickname. This guy gets finishes for sure. But Jacoby Smith is just so fucking skilled. I have a hard time seeing Josiah Harrell coming in on short notice and upsetting Jacoby Smith. I think Jacoby Smith handles business. Does he get the finish?
That's one thing I wanted to mention about this fight is usually we've seen this multiple times when we see dudes like this with records like this, multiple finishes stacked on top of each other. Both of them are young. Both of them have multiple wins. They're undefeated.
Yeah,
they get matched up, and then the fight goes to decision.
Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with you there. I definitely think this is one of those ones that it's going to be a strong 3-round fight. Probably back and forth. I think it's just whoever can dog it out in the third.
100%. If anything, though, if I were to bank on a finish, I would bank on the side of Jacoby Smith here. One thing I will say is, yes, this fight is short notice. Joe did mention that, but Joshua Harrell's last fight was 4 weeks ago.
Wow, was it really that long ago? Shit.
Yeah. And like you had mentioned, Jacoby Smith is training with DC, and he was preparing for Seung Huk Ko.
That heavy wrestling background.
The heavy wrestling and nasty ground and pound.
And which Jacoby Smith is very capable of himself. I mean, he's got good kickboxing, but I think I remember seeing him being a solid wrestler. I think he was a collegiate wrestler.
He submitted Nico Price in his last fight. But the fact that he's with DC as well,
big.
I gotta go. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning on a side of Jacoby by finish here. Jacoby inside the distance. But like I was saying, I still am very strong on 2 undefeated guys with nasty finishes underneath their belt. Yeah, it might go to decision here, but I see Jacoby Smith edging it out, especially since he has more UFC experience than Josiah Harrell.
Mm-hmm. Moving in, we get the big boys, which, I mean, every time I say it, I try to make it sound exciting. I never get excited about the heavyweights right now. I mean, it's been bad. We just saw Gelton Almeida. We're not even going to talk about it, bro. Just know that heavyweights are heavyweights, and that's just it. I'm almost at the point of I'd rather watch women's MMA. Which is no disrespect to women's MMA, but I think you get my vibe, guys. So we get Sergey Spivak versus Ante Delija. This is one of those fights where I think we could potentially see a finish on the side of Delija over Spivak. But Spivak has some really exceptional ground game, and Delija is Tom Aspinall's training partner. It's one of those fights where decision doesn't seem like it's out of the question. I think this is kind of those one of those fights where this could be a shit fight, and I'm kind of on the side of the decision, to be honest with you. But I think Delija does have finishing capability. But I just think Spivak's ground game makes this kind of, caution. This could be a hug fuck kind of fight, and that's what I'm worried about. Um, yeah, last time we saw Delija, he had the weird eye poke incident with Waldo, and then they continued the fight, and then he gets knocked out like 10 seconds later. Yeah, I mean it happens. That was the last time we saw him. It's 3 months ago. Spivak, he's 3-2 in his, or he's 2-3 in his last 5. Lost to Jelton Almeida by knockout, which is pretty rough. I mean, Almeida's got pillow hands, and then he lost to Waldo by unanimous decision. So I don't know. Both these guys are kind of at weird spots in their career. I think Delija looked fun when he got, when he beat Marcin Tybura. We're like, okay, this guy could be a problem for the UFC. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really just on the side of Delija, probably just on the money line. I mean, minus 170 for a heavyweight, sure, I'll take it, I guess. I'm not excited for it, though.
I got Ante Delija winning this fight, but I think he could get it done inside the distance, Joe. I think he could get a knockout.
Really?
I actually think he can get a knockout. I fucking pray and I cross my fingers I see a fucking knockout in a heavyweight fucking fight. I am right there behind Joe. Heavyweights are on fucking hate watch right now.
Yeah.
You fat fucking slob, dude. I cannot get over the fucking Tai Tuivasa and fucking
Almeida, yeah,
fight,
bro.
And the Almeida and fucking Kania fight. What the fuck is going on, bro? I've said this before the year even fucking started. Before we even started with all these pay-per-view events, with all these fucking Serial Gon cursed the heavyweight division by fucking double eye
witchcraft.
Dom Aspinall, and John Jones was the one who fucking shat on it. Serial Gon was the one who came in here and smeared all of it. It is insane what's going on in the heavyweight division. Like you said, bro, it used to be exciting to announce these heavyweight fights because there was a guaranteed finish.
Yeah.
There's a guaranteed finish. And most of the times that these heavyweight fights would go to decision would be after a fucking round and a half of just straight fucking slugging it out.
Yeah, Cain Velasquez just got released from jail. I think he needs to go back to the UFC. He needs to clean up house.
He needs to go in there and just shoot somebody. Anyways, I got Ante Delija. I think Ante Delija can go in there and fucking knock out Sergey Spivak.
Okay.
I would hope so. Like I said, cross my finger, guys. But going into the next one.
Yep.
Fuck the heavyweight fight, dude. I'm over here talking about heavyweights, dude. Going into the next one, we have a solid fucking vet, Dan Ige, against an up-and-coming prospect of Melquizael
Costa.
Or Milky.
Yep.
Or the Dalmatian. He changed his nickname. I thought it was like Milky. I will say this real quick about Costa. Holy fucking winning streak he has going on right now.
Is it 5 or is it longer than 5? I just see the one right here.
He's on a 5 fight winning streak. His last fight though. Last fight was probably the biggest statement in this entire fucking. He knocked out Morgan Charrier. You don't do that.
Yeah, never been finished.
That does not. That was his first knockout fucking finish. Morgan Charrier has 13 knockouts. I mean, 13 knockouts under his fucking belt, bro. And Melquizael Costa goes in there and fucking delivers a fucking head kick from hell and slumps Morgan Charrier. Dan Ige though, like I said, he is a solid fucking veteran. He is a hard hitting fucking. Yeah, man. Dan Ige.
He's hard to count out.
He is hard to count out, but I think he's on his way out. He had that knockout win against Sean Woodson. I mean, you could really argue, but he did bit Sean Woodson. You could argue the stoppage, but he went in there and wouldn't put in work. That fight against Patricio Pitbull, which is his most recent one, it was a lot of back and forth in the first round, but Pitbull really fucking put it on Dan Ige towards the end of that fight. Man, it is really hard to count out Dan Ige here because you look at his last 5, the
He's
losses that
fought
he's taken
dogs.
aren't that bad, man. You know, he lost to Patricio Pitbull, which Pitbull lost to Yair, but before that he loses to Lerone Murphy and then loses to Diego Lopez.
In a fight that you could argue Dan Ige may have won.
Exactly.
And it was short notice.
In an hour notice, in a fucking hour's notice, Dan Ige stepped in and fought the number 2 contender in the featherweight division, Diego Lopez, and took him to decision.
Like I say, it's hard to count him out. Yeah,
it really is hard to count him out, but
I agree with you. He's definitely. I feel like he's outmatched here. I think Mokwaz Acosta is coming into his own, and he's definitely. Yeah. He's got a very, very well-rounded craft. I mean, we've seen the submission game. We've witnessed it in Seattle. Choked out Feely fucking with a quickness, with a mounted ghillie, and then we've seen him beat C-Rod. I think that was in Mexico City, and we're like, okay. C-Rod's kind of been the prospect killer, and Costa passed that test, and then he goes and fights Julian Erosa, who is another guy with great submission game, takes him to decision. This was kind of the low light of the win streak because Julian Erosa is one of those guys that he's been chinned a lot, and that was the one that I thought Costa would be able to get the finish. But yeah, the win over Marvin Schreier is definitely the highlight of this win streak because, like I said, Schreier has never been knocked out, and he knocks him out with a fucking head kick that was just so clean. And he's coming into his own, man. I mean, he's definitely coming into his prime. He's 29. I mean, he's young. He's definitely a name that I think by the end of this year, if he wins this one against Dan Ige, he's going to be in that conversation for contendership. He might end up fighting. God, I mean, I don't really know. I think in the recap we'll have a good idea of how we'll match make him. But right now, I mean, we'll just focus on the Dan Ige. Yeah, Dan Ige's 3 losses are tough, man. I mean, like I said, that's why it's hard to count him out because it's really the top. It's the cream of the crop for the featherweight, the guys he's lost to. All these guys have been ranked and are ranked. So, I don't know, it's tough. I think Costa, I mean, how he wins, how do you think he wins? I think Costa probably just wins on decision.
I did want to go, I did kind of want to dive into that just a little bit, let's take a little bit more time on that because we are getting into our last 3 fights on the card.
Yeah.
But with this one, I think Dan Ige really needs to put the pressure on Costa. I think he really needs to get in there and get in the pocket of Costa because I feel like Dan Ige. I do see Ige struggling on the ground if Costa were to take his back and really get this fight to a position where Dan Ige can't get any leverage or can't get in a good position where he's working back up to his feet. I don't know.
I will say.
I'm pick flipping. I'm doing it. I got Dan Ige winning this fucking fight. I think Dan Ige is gonna get in there, and I think Dan Ige might fucking chin Costa as well. I think Dan Ige is gonna get inside the pocket. I think he's gonna break the fucking distance that Costa's gonna be trying to implement on Dan Ige because Costa's the longer fighter. He is the longer, lengthier fighter. But Dan Ige needs to get in there. He needs to get in there and fucking put the work on Costa. Yes. Dan Ige is he's yes, I said he is on his way out. He's lying. I said that. But go and rewatch the fight against Andre Fili. Andre Fili is built really similar to Costa. Look at his fight against Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson is the same exact way. Tall, lengthy. And Dan Ige can close that distance. He could close that gap.
He's got great counters.
So at the end of the day, this really goes on to Costa. How good is your distance management, and how good is your grappling against a fucking smaller, probably a little faster just because of the size. You know what I mean? Dan Ige is one of those smaller dudes, a little bit like we were talking about earlier, a little bit more compact, smaller reach in his arms, but he has that fucking pop and he has that explosiveness. So yeah, I'm pick flipping on this fight, and I'm going with Dan Ige. I think Dan Ige will be able to exploit Costa and that distance managing, and I think Dan Ige is going to be able to get in there and fucking. He might even chin Costa, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I think I will say that what we see from El Costa, if he gets a finish over Ige, something that not a lot of guys can say they've done, I think we're looking at a top 10 from El Costa. I think he's going to get a top 10 fight for sure. I think we go to a decision with Ige. I mean, it's just like, it's a big win because you're a 6-fight win streak fighter. You went to a decision with Dan Ige, something that, you know, all these top guys have done. Yeah, I think however he goes about this, it's a big fight for Costa. The pressure's on Dan Ige though. I mean, yeah, he lost 3 of his last 5. And yeah, like you're saying, a win.
I mean, I wouldn't really say the pressure is on Dan Ige here. I feel like Dan Ige is kind of in a good spot with the UFC. I mean, especially with Dana White. You know, Dana White
when he filled in.
He most definitely told Dan Ige, like, we're gonna take care of you. So I don't feel like the pressure is really on Dan Ige. I feel like Dan Ige is kind of chilling, and I do see a very comfortable spot somewhere in the UFC company for Dan Ige if he gets taken out when he does retire. But honestly, I disagree with you. I think fucking Costa. I think everything is kind of riding on Costa here. Because I mean, you're not just. It's not near even.
Yeah. I mean, he is a big.
He's a pretty huge fucking favorite going into this fight against a vet like Dan Ige.
Yeah.
You know, and like even you said yourself, I'm not trying to convince anybody here. I just want to say that real quick. But even you said yourself, you can't. It's hard to count out Dan Ige here, man.
Yeah.
And like, if you want to look at some of the competition that both these fighters have faced,
what you call this, guys, is me being a square.
Morgan Charrier is probably the best, you know, fight that Costa has.
Yeah.
You know, and yes, he did make a statement on that fight.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
He did not fight. Oh.
What there's no other underneath Costa's belt that I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, he got knocked out by Steve Garcia.
Steve Garcia knocks out everybody at featherweight.
Exactly. Steve Garcia's knocking out everybody. See, I will say this. Costa's getting the wins over the dudes that he is supposed to be getting them over. Like this Chilean guy. I don't even know who the fuck that guy is, but he was 39-11 when he Costa. Andre Philly. Andre Philly's been around for a while, for a long time.
Mm.
Like you said, C-Rod, Rosa. I'm just repeating what you were saying, but I'm just more kind of validating my opinion. I'm not trying to, you know,
you're not gonna pick flip me, bud.
Convince anybody, but I got Dan Ige in this fight, dude. I think he's gonna put it on Costa, bro. I really do feel like that.
Okay.
I really do.
All right, bud. All right, going into the co-main. This feels like in my opinion, a total mismatch. We got Jeff Neal versus Uros Medic, and I say mismatch because Jeff Neal is Jeff Neal, and he's only fought the cream of the crop. And Uros Medic, I feel like for his 2-fight win streak, he hasn't really been fighting necessarily the good quality of competition. I mean, he beat Tim Means almost 2 years ago. Before that, gets fucking his ass whipped by Orlby. I think it was Orlby's debut as well, right? I think it was. He gets knocked out by Puna Healy, who's also on this card. And like I said, I don't hold Puna Healy that high at all. I think he's pretty mid. He knocked out Gilbert Urbina. This is one of the Urbina brothers, and Urbina actually dropped Uros in this fight in the first round. It was almost like a flash knockout. He popped back up and he got back in there, and then he knocked out Muslim Salikov, which. This was an okay win. This win I'll give him credit for. Beat the kung fu master, 41-year-old Muslim Salikov. But we're talking about a 41-year-old Muslim Salikov. I mean, his day's come. You know, it's I don't know. Jeff Neal, let's look at history losses. Shavkat Rakhmonov. He's out with a knee injury, but he is fucking arguably one of the scariest fighters in this whole division. Ian Shogari. Possibly fighting for the belt. I don't know if you've seen any of the posts. Carlos Prates, who just fucking chinned Leon Edwards, a guy who's never been finished and former title holder. So Jeff Neal's, I mean, his resume speaks a little bit more volume to me, and that's why I think he's such a heavy favorite, even coming off of a loss to Carlos Prates. because like I said, he's a hard guy to put away. I don't think that was his first knockout loss was against Jeff Neal, right? Or was against Protest? Oh, second.
Yeah, that was in the UFC.
First in the UFC, yeah, okay. So I don't know. It's definitely an odd matchmaker fight. I think Jeff Neal gets this one done. I think Jeff Neal fucking knocks out U-ZAH-BUS-PQ.
Yeah,
I think he puts him down pretty quick.
I agree, and I think it gets done early. I think it does get done early because I see if Geoff Neal drops U-ZAH-BUS-PQ early,
He ain't getting that
him at all. Yeah, Geoff Neal's getting right on top of that.
Yeah,
right on top of that and putting out Medic. The only thing that I do worry though, here is the possibility of U-ZAH-BUS-PQ locked in. Medic being locked in here. What if Medic he plays to that long reach? Oh wait.
but good news, he doesn't have the long reach here.
Shut up, Z. Shut up. Anyways, I got Geoff Neal by knockout. I think Geoff Neal is going to put the work on U-ZAH-BUS-PQ. I think U-ZAH-BUS-PQ is kind of, I don't know, dude. I don't know. He's on that 2-fight win streak right now, both by knockout. But it's like
the quality's not there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I got Geoff Neal winning in the cone fight.
Yeah. I think Jeff Neal's gonna be a good journeyman gatekeeper for this top 15 for a while, as long as he fights. And he's gonna be a hard guy to surpass. I just don't think U-ZAH-BUS-PQ has what it takes. So yeah, I think Jeff Neal gets it done as well.
Well, all right, Joe.
Oh, now I gotta give a pick, bro.
Okay, hold on.
Oh.
Before we get into it, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe. We appreciate it.
Share the video.
Yeah, share the video as well. Drop a comment. Let us know.
Damn, shaking the whole setup.
Let us know how you feel about our picks. Let us know how you feel about Joe picking Costa against Dan Ige. Anyways, let's get into it. Sean Strickland versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez.
The main event.
Do you have a pick yet?
Oh, I'm gonna do it. Just because you're on the Dan Ige side, and we need to get some competition here. I'm taking Mr. Tarzan, Mr. Sean Strickland, because I'll let you say your piece first, because your side your side's safer.
This is the main event. And you're dog. Tell us why, Joe.
All right, reason I'm on the underdog here. We're talking about Sean Strickland, former middleweight title holder. Did beat Dricus. He beat Izzy, and he dog walked him for 5 rounds. It's an Izzy that some might say was on a downtrend in his career, and I honestly don't know how I feel because of the Seattle card coming up with him fighting Piper. Do I think Piper's going to knock him out? I don't know. I mean, we're talking about ring rust. We're talking about an Izzy who, was a world beater, who was like compared to Anderson Silva, and I don't know. Sean Strickland walked through him with his high knee marching, fucking awkward boxing, shell boxing style, and it worked. And it ruined Izzy. He almost knocked him out. I think it was the second round, early in that fight, we'll say. And he was beating him all in the cage, and Izzy stood up and he was wobbled, and then he shelled up, and then went to decision. Strickland, he went through a 2-fight war with DDP, and it was honestly surprising that DDP actually won both of those. The first one, I thought Strickland won, and I think the only reason he lost was just because of the damage. I mean, the damage just looked a lot worse on Sean. And then he beats Paulo Costa, which was a shit fight. The thing about Sean Strickland, if he ever tells you that he's going to go in there and he's going to fucking beat someone's ass and he's going to go to war, just know you're getting a March Fest for 5 rounds. And I think he's really got to put the pace on Fluffy, because Fluffy and him, these are 2 guys that probably have some of the best cardio in the middleweight division. Both these guys can definitely, keep a pace for 5 rounds and not get gassed. The only difference I see here is Fluffy's kickboxing might be a little bit better, and obviously his ground game is going to be, a lot better. And I think my take on it is Sean Strickland's anti-wrestling is going to have to be, it's going to be tested, and it's probably going to be tested for, 5 rounds. And every time we say that about guys versus Fluffy ends up drowning them. But we've seen Anthony Hernandez lose to before his win streak, he lost to who was it? It was I think I remember watching it. Lost to Kevin Holland, and that was a Kevin Holland who we thought was pretty solid. I think that was during the COVID days. And Sean Strickland can get any sort of beat on what Fluffy's trying to do, and he's able to catch him with some of his awkward striking, and keep Fluffy on the back foot. I think Strickland can really put the pressure on Hernandez and really hurt him. And I think it's going to come down to Hernandez panic shooting and not being able to dictate when he wants to shoot and put Strickland on the back foot, because putting Strickland on the back foot's hard. No one does it because, like I said, he's one of those guys who has a weird style and he marches forward. And if you get him to step backwards, then that's really where Fluffy's probably going to, take advantage of him and take the fight to the ground and probably choke him. Because as long as it stays standing, I favor Strickland. If it hits the ground, it hits the mat, it's obviously in favor of Fluffy. It's really a clash of styles. I don't see a knockout happening for Hernandez. If there was a knockout, I'm definitely on the side of Strickland, and that's who I'm taking in this fight. Even a decision, I think I favor Strickland in, just because, like I said, both these guys have the best cardio in the middleweight division outside of like Hamzat. And that's my take. I'm taking the dog, Strickland.
I agree with you. I mean, don't get me wrong at all. Agree with you. I mean, look at the only person who made it look easy against Sean Strickland was Alex Pereira. He was the only fighter who made it look easy. Sean Strickland has made a tough fight for every single person that he's fought.
Yeah.
I mean, former champ Israel Adesanya, biggest upset I've ever seen, besides seeing fucking Leon Edwards pull the fucking head kick out of the fucking fire against Kamaru Usman in the 5th round.
Yeah.
It was insane to see Sean Strickland just walk down easy for 5 fucking rounds. Dropped him in the 1st round. I was losing my fucking mind when I saw that. But anyways, like you were talking about, goes to back-to-back wars with DDP, goes to decision with Costa. Those fights weren't easy at all. DDP most definitely had to put a lot more into that fight in order to win there.
Yeah.
But guys, I have a suspicion with Fluffy. This motherfucker is a psycho. He is a psycho, bro.
Yeah.
He is one of those dudes who enjoys being in the fucking trenches, enjoys being in the fucking grittiness of the fucking fight, and he will take you there, and he enjoys being there, bro. He enjoys being, like you just said in the Michelle Pereira fight, he could have finished him in the fucking 2nd round. Instead, he dragged it all the way to the fucking 5th. Bitched Pereira the entire time. Literally bitched him. Literally just fucked with him the whole
Just sucked
fight.
all the confidence out of Pereira.
Just
yeah.
fucking just dominant, just top control, just fucking switching over, dude. He I don't know how many submissions I've seen Fluffy lock up in that fight and then just let it go and then just move to a dominant position. I feel like Fluffy is going to go into this fight with a huge grudge. Sean Strickland literally posted on his fucking Instagram, Sean Strickland in an ice uniform and Fluffy in a fucking sombrero and a fucking poncho. Fluffy Hernandez is going to go into this fight with a huge grudge on his fucking shoulder, bro. We all know. And this is another reason why I don't really like he is a fucking retard. He does not know half the shit he's talking about. He literally just spews out, hey guys, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing about this, guys. Yes, he has some solid takes sometimes.
Yeah.
As an American, he has some solid takes about some certain things. But 99% of the time, he's just spewing out bullshit out of his ass so he can get more views. Anthony Hernandez is going to go in there and absolutely shut that shit down.
Shut that shit down.
Anthony, I think the whole fucking Philly shell and the fucking teep kicks and the fucking jab. I think Anthony Hernandez is gonna figure that out, and I think he's not gonna. Yes, Sean Strickland is gonna continue on that march because that's Sean Strickland. You blow his legs out, he's still gonna fucking hit you with teep kicks and jab and walk.
Jab.
I think Fluffy Hernandez is gonna be to work around that, and I think he's gonna be able to get this fight in a position where he can get it to the ground, and he's gonna bitch Sean Strickland. In my opinion, I think he's gonna toy with Strickland a little bit, and I think maybe he'll find the finish, or maybe he just wants to fucking drag this out all the way to the judges' scorecards and just show how dominant he is. Because look back at his last fight against Roman Dolidze.
Bro.
Bro, that was a slaughter. That was a slaughter against a Roman Dolidze who was visibly. You could put Fluffy Hernandez and Roman Dolidze side and go show a casual viewer and be like, this Dolidze guy is gonna fucking maul this guy.
Yeah, I mean,
No, and I just feel like Hernandez is gonna go in there and he's gonna put some work on Strickland, in my opinion. Like I was talking about, I honestly feel like Fluffy is one of those dudes who, yes, I feel like they all enjoy to fight, but at the end of it, I feel like he really enjoys that shit. I feel like he really enjoys to fucking go into the deep end of the fight and really see what you're made of.
so
And I think that's what Fluffy is preparing for in this fight.
all right. So let me ask you this. So a win for either of these guys, what do we see happening? What's next?
Possible title shot for one of, or see, if Strickland were to win, I don't think they're gonna boost Strickland. But if Fluffy wins, that's a huge.
Yeah, after his win streak.
He has a massive win streak right now, and I was just looking at it. He had since fucking 2020. And that
Yeah.
was against a prime Kevin Holland, like you had mentioned.
Yeah.
Ever since then, dude, he is on a fucking 7-fight win streak
Yeah.
against good fighters.
You know what I see they
Wow.
make? I think if Fluffy wins, yes, I think the title shot is damn near guaranteed. It'd be hard to say no to a guy with a win streak. If Sean Strickland wins, I think we get the Nasruddin Imavov versus Strickland rematch. Even though Strickland fucking walked him down, I think that would be a contender eliminator fight. I think this one is more for like Fluffy. If he wins, he gets title shot.
Isn't Nasruddin gonna go and fight
Hamzat already.
anyways? I feel like that's what it should be. I mean,
He should fight loser of the title.
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
Nasruddin beat Kyle. You know, was it impressive? Do I think Nasruddin's gonna go and beat Hamzat? No.
Yeah, and that's kind of the
But-
problem. Is Sean? I don't think Sean would fight Kyle because aren't they like buddies? I mean, they probably would if they had to, I guess. But
I'm not sure if they are buddies. I know Sean Strickland most definitely is pretty good friends with fucking Alex Pereira. But one thing I do see happening here is Fluffy winning and fighting DDP. I mean, DDP's been out since that loss against Hamzat, and they're most definitely not going to make that rematch. They're not going to make that rematch against fucking DDP and Hamzat.
yeah,
You know, that's most definitely out of the question until DDP can rack up a few more wins. So that's what I see happening here. I see Fluffy getting a win here against former champ Sean Strickland, and then going on and fighting another former champ in DDP, and then after that, really solidifying that title shot. You know, if you were to win against DDP, which I honestly think that would be a really tough fight for Fluffy, a really tough fight for Fluffy. But anyways, guys, that was all of our picks. All of our breakdowns on all of these fights for this card this weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie, kind of went more in depth in those last 3 fights, like I said I would. But
yeah. It's kind of hard to get kind of a good scope on some of these prelim fights. But we always try to take care of you guys for the main card. That's where a lot of you guys, kind of tune in and watch. So that's where you're gonna get more of the sauce, more of the breakdown, a little more in depth for you guys, so you guys are a little more confident in your picks. As always, guys, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys on the Friday show, going over our bets, going over the lines, and showing you guys our picks.
oh yeah, if just fucking correct me if I'm wrong. I actually think I am wrong. I think after the card on the 21st of this month.
This card, yeah, it's the Strickland card.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's 21st.
Oh.
Why? What's going on?
I think we'll have one more in this month, and then it'll go on a week break.
We
I
have
think.
another
Maybe
break?
not. Maybe not.
Oh,
Maybe
bro.
Not then. Maybe not then.
Hopefully
Maybe
not.
then, 'cause I got my dates mixed up.
Okay.
So I think for the next like 5 Saturdays we'll have a UFC event.
Good.
So
Perfect.
fucking-
Perfect.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys for watching and stay cozy.
Stay cozy. Peace.